It's the 21st century, and it's time for you to break free from the old ideas, the old beliefs, the old shackles that have been holding you back and keeping you bound in misery and failure. It's time to learn the truth about your power and about what's really going on in the world. Everything that you see and experience is a reflection of what's going on inside of you. Nothing more, but nothing less. Learn the truth. Change your life. Change the planet. Hey everybody, welcome to the show. This is the latest episode of Reality Changer Radio, and I am your host, Dave Dickey. And for the next few minutes, I'm going to be discussing the law of attraction, manifesting, and how you can learn to do all that you need to do within a few short hours. One of the things that I usually do on this show is to highlight certain areas of your life and how to deal with them. Tonight what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight a bunch of different areas of your life and ask you how important it is to you. And ask you, what would it be worth to you to spend a day learning techniques, understanding the way things work, and to become happy and learn techniques that will help you change your entire life. Would you like that? Because that's coming up soon. April 19th at the Learning Light Foundation in Anaheim, California, I'm going to be holding a 6-hour manifesting intensive. And on that intensive, I'm going to be pulling out all the stops on the law of attraction and manifesting and what's going on with the world. Everything from why pharmaceutical companies don't want you to know how to control your health, to never having to have another bad day at work ever unless you decide you just don't care. What if, and I'm very serious about this, what if you could learn how to control your work environment using two simple techniques, and the major one being something you do that day that only takes 5 minutes before you even get out of bed? Would that be something you'd consider valuable? How valuable would it be to you to be able to learn what I term a happiness meditation, steeped in the basic principles of law of attraction, in order to calm your mind from worry and become happier? And every time you do it, you notice the change. Would that be valuable to you? What if you were able to realize just how much time doesn't exist and were given an opportunity to learn exactly how to manipulate time? Would that be valuable to you? What if, I know I'm saying a bunch of what ifs, but every one of these is basically a question. What if you learned how to control a future conversation that you haven't had yet by turning it into a memory for the universe so that you can use the principle of acting as if? Because you know, acting as if is going through all the motions as if you already have it. So how valuable would it be to you to learn how to control future conversations? I'm asking. I don't know. I talk a lot to a lot of people. I tell them exactly what they can do, and not everybody's ready because everybody has been so steeped in this old school programming where you're this physical being that needs to get closer to God, and you're this physical being that has aches and pains because of the physical stuff, and you're this physical being that has to deal with all these other physical beings and try to change them if you don't like it. But that's where it all goes wrong. That's where it all goes wrong, because none of that is true. It's true that you're taught to believe that and to act that way, but it's not true. And you can't really blame the people that taught you that, because they were taught that. They're only doing the best they can with the info they got. It's same as you. What would it be worth to you? And I want you to think about this very seriously. What would it be worth to you to be able to get the house you wanted within a week and a half with just a digital vision board? Would that technique be valuable to you? And let's not forget the concept that if you really can get these things, which I know you can because the techniques I teach are from personal experience and my students' experience, everything leads to the main concept that you don't really need the amount of money you believe you need, because you can get most of what you want anyways in a different fashion. Now, I'm not saying you won't have to pay for it, because there's the law of reciprocation. That old saying of you can't get something for nothing, well, that's true. However, the beauty of the system is all the universe cares about is that you give back. You get to decide. And once you learn that you need to make those decisions out of love, then there's no bad decision. You just go ahead and you decide what you're going to give. And I'll give you a perfect example, but I'll give you one to tease you. I am also a graphic designer, and I've had a side business for years off and on besides having my own studio. So with that kind of thing, you always want to have computers in your house with the latest software and all that other stuff. And I was able to, on more than one occasion, get exactly what I wanted, brand new, for less than a fifth of the price. The one example I'll give you is I got a new Mac years ago. I got a new Mac with all the latest software, and total with all the software and everything, because it was top-notch design stuff, you're looking at about $5,000. I paid less than $700, including shipping, because that's what I decided was my limit. See, you can do that. That's the coolest part about the law of reciprocation. No, nobody gets nothing for free. But the giver of the free, I mean, come on. You can tell what you're going to give while you're manifesting what you want to get. My townhouse, a week and a half, digital vision board. I had the price on there. It's exactly what I got. The computer. How valuable would it be to you to be able to learn how to do that? And now let me ask you, how valuable would it be to you if you were able to learn not that, but all the other stuff I mentioned too. Plus, learning how to take the time to make the time. And what I mean by that is, once you start doing this, a lot of people say, well, I'm too busy to do this and I'm too busy to do that and all this other stuff. But the basic concept here is that most people don't get is that once you make time, just once, okay, and you start it, and the more you do it, the more time you're going to have, you see, because right now you're living with lack. You don't have enough time. Right now you're living in that external, what's it say on the clock box, where everybody expecting you to do things at a certain time and you expecting things to get done at a certain time. Well, how valuable would it be for you to be able to learn how to stop worrying about all that crap? And that just by using the techniques to get what you want, by osmosis, everything else takes care of itself because the universe has your back. How valuable would it be? Now, you hear this stuff all the time, but how valuable would it be to learn all of this stuff in one workshop? Listen, I know everybody is hungry for this and hungry for that, and there's not enough time in the world to hold detailed workshops on every single thing. So what I've done is over the years, I've cut this down, okay, in my own research, because I'm kind of a lazy guy and never had a lot of time before I started all this. So you're not going to be learning things that will take, like one thing takes you 4 hours. Not at all. That's the beauty of the entire process. Because controlling your life and manifesting what you desire takes very little effort in each technique. The clue is consistency and believing in it. Because you could do all of it, and you could spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in tapes and videos and, seminars and workshops. None of it will matter if inside you don't really believe it'll work. So, how valuable now would it be if you were also taught in this same workshop a simple technique you could use with anybody to discover exactly what you believe or don't believe, regardless of what you think is real. An example is, you think you're ugly. You say it all the time. But that doesn't mean that you truly believe it. They don't always go hand in hand, because you've got the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. And the conscious mind is flapping its gums with "I think I'm ugly," because it's getting signals from the subconscious mind. But it does whatever. And it has its own set of rules. But the subconscious mind is where all your belief systems are. Okay? So until you go there and change your negative beliefs about whatever, it's never going to work. And especially with all of the stuff that you need to do, it all sounds like something out of a kid's playbook. Oh, Johnny the Magician, he did this and there it was, it just appeared. It does sound like that sometimes. And because we're all brought together to make everything so complicated that you look at it and you go, it can't be that easy. There's no way it can be that easy. And it really is. It really is that easy once your belief system has kicked in. And then once your belief system has kicked in, then there's areas of your life where, stuff comes through from your programming. Okay? Oh yeah, I'm 20% here, but then I'm 80% over here. Well, that's other areas of your life that need to be pulled out. You see, with your belief system, there could be 80 gazillion things in there that you either believe yes or no on. And so each one of these can have an effect, and actually they can domino and have a multiple effect when you least expect it. So one thing over here that you haven't cleared out of your past could affect 3 or 4 other things, and until you drill down what happened, because something negative will happen. Once you try to figure that out and you peel back the layers and get down to the very bottom, then you see this one little thing. So never give up, never struggle with the concept that I just can't get it, because it takes a while. It takes a while of habit, it takes a while of repetition, but what's really important is that you have all of the material with actual experience, because we're going to be doing these techniques in the workshop. It's not just 6 hours of you sitting there listening to me while you're falling asleep. We are going to be rocking and rolling from the first minute to the last. Not to mention the fact that I'm giving away over $400 worth of services that are specifically geared toward you becoming awesome and manifesting whatever you want. So how valuable is that? Everybody that comes in gets a ticket, and you get a chance to win the stuff. There's all kinds of stuff. Free support, free sessions, free hypnosis, personalized hypnosis MP3s, a whole bunch of stuff. So how valuable is that if in the same day you were able to learn all the other stuff? You see what I mean? How much is that all worth to you? You know, because let's just say that you learn half the stuff that I teach you, and you're still working on the other half. But let's say you get really good at half the stuff, and all of a sudden, all kinds of things are happening for you. Now, not everything that you've been trying is working, but some things happen, and you go, wow. You know? And let's say it was enhanced by a free session that you won in the raffle. How cool is that? You know? So, in order to create your reality and run your life and have everything you want, it's a multi-step process. But here's the good part. Excuse me. It is the same for everybody. We're taught that we're different. And physically, yes. Spiritually, no. We're all the same. We're all spiritual beings that have infinite power. And we are running around the planet in these bodies. Just making stuff. Just making stuff. Yep, gonna make cabinets, gonna make houses, gonna make chairs. Hey, wait, let's get together and think about something else we can make that nobody else has made. Creative spiritual beings with infinite power. And we've gotten lost in the physical world. But the good news is, it doesn't have to be that way. Everything that happens to you is a result of a reflection of what's going on inside. So, you need to look around and then take a moment and reflect. Because all of it can be changed. And it's a sign that when you see what's going on inside you, now you know what needs to be changed. And that's how the whole thing works. And you work on each part. Everybody's the same. That's the cool news. Everybody is the same. So, give a technique to Harry. It's the same technique that Andrea uses. It's the same technique that Julio uses. Same technique. And the beauty of this stuff is that it's like making cakes. It's a recipe. Everything's a recipe. And that's the cool part. Everything's a recipe. And they all have similar ingredients. So like, let's say you're making cakes and you make a chocolate cake. Well, if tomorrow you make a red velvet cake, you're going to use most of the stuff that was in that chocolate cake. I mean, a lot of the ingredients, right? But you're not going to use everything. You're going to use some different. So you're mixing two of them. So it's just like that. And so, you want to make some muffins. Well, some of that stuff that's in the cake mix is there. So, I mean, you see where I'm going with this? So it's all geared towards showing you just how easy it is to change your life and asking you a serious question. What's it worth to you? If you could change your life, if one moment of this 6 hours on Saturday changes your life, what's that worth for you? Are you the kind that would love to stop worrying about paying the bills? Are you worried about not enough money coming in? Are you concerned about your car not running properly? Or that you're always late to work? Or that somebody doesn't like you? Or that you want somebody to like you? Or whatever. All of these can be changed with what you're going to learn on Saturday, April 19th. All of these can be changed. How cool is that? You don't have to put up with it anymore. And you'll learn the truth about everybody, one of the side effects is it makes your relationships with everybody different, better and different. So, what's that worth to you? This is an opportunity to come and learn exactly what's going on with us and the universe, and exactly how to connect and learn the truth. And understand also that learning this is important, because once you change yourself, right? Because you will change. It's inevitable. You change because you become happier. And if you're happy right now, you become even way happier. You're going to change. And that changes your energy, and that changes your reality. That's the bottom line right there. So you have to understand that there are people that if everybody did this, there are a whole lot of people that would lose jobs. And I'm not exaggerating. There's a whole lot of people that would lose jobs. Because think about it this way. If we know placebo drugs work, which means by believing in the drug, you make it a cure when it's not. Okay? So you are using your belief system at its finest when you make a placebo drug work, or you make a real drug not work because you don't believe it will. Works both ways. Okay? So you have to understand that if you could do that, then, and you can control your health. You can. The body and the mind are one. Most 99.9% of the ailments that people have are from an emotional block trapped within the body. The body and mind are one. It's your spirit. It's like hypochondriacs eventually get sick because they honestly believe there's something wrong, and it's created. That's how creepy and how cool the whole thing really is. So it's all in your belief system. So you have to understand that once you fine-tune that and you don't need a doctor, you're not buying doctors. And if everybody did that, well, if you're never ill, who needs a hospital? You might need an emergency room in case you get cut or something. But if you're never sick, what do you need doctors for? Seriously. Like maybe a handful of them. What do you need pharmaceuticals for? You don't, because you're not sick. So where does that market go? That market goes down to the 10% probability of you getting so injured you're going to need antibiotics or something, But not as an everyday thing. I mean, they're giving you pills for everything. And the list of bad things that can happen to you from those pills is 3 times as long as what the pill will do. So what does that tell you? That's where everything's going. So, what if? What if you could eliminate that from your existence altogether? And what if everybody did? There's a whole lot of people that'd be out of work. There's a whole lot of industry moguls who would not be happy. You think that if they knew this, they don't understand the concept that if everybody did it, they'd be out of a job? And they're not the only ones. Okay? So we're going to discuss those people in this workshop, and we're going to just spend a little time kind of gazing at the possibility and the probability of people like that doing whatever they could to silence and stop the education of the law of attraction and manifesting and changing your emotional environment and all of that. So that's part of what we're going to be exploring, along with all of the techniques that you could possibly think about. Okay, here's some of the stuff that we're going to cover. Meditation, hypnosis, vision boards, muscle testing, visualizing, placebo drugs, farmer mentality, controlling time and events, parenting for the 21st century. Yes, indeed, it's time to stop teaching children how we teach children if we ever want to change this planet. We're going to go into pain and energy and how you take on other people's pain. Family issues, work issues. And we're also going to do a great group hypnosis relaxation. It's awesome. So, how much is all that worth to you? Okay? It's $100 for the workshop. Now, let me ask you, if you could do all the stuff that I told you could do, and that you've seen others do, you've heard about it, maybe you even know people, or maybe you're even into it yourself, how much is all that worth to you? The workshop is $100, and if you're coming, be there on time, or you're going to miss stuff. Seriously. It is from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturday, April 19th, the Learning Light Foundation in Anaheim. And if you go to my website, there's a poster on there. It has all the information. www.whatyouthinkiswhatyouget.com. And go there and you'll find out all the information. Call the Learning Light, let them know you're coming, or just show up. Okay? This is your opportunity to spend 6 hours of your life to change the rest of your life. I think you owe it to yourself. All right. Well, I'm going to shut up for now, and I hope to see all of you, or at least most of you, this Saturday. And until next time, I want everybody to have an awesome life, awesome day. I love you all. Good night.